Hey guys, we are back and we're going to be working on the workbook pages. This is workbook pages 5 and 6. So make sure you're doing 5 and 6 because I started off originally with the wrong pages. So we're looking at 5 and 6. This is work with place value patterns. So we're trying to find patterns. If you remember from a previous video, we work with a base 10 number system. So that means our pattern is going to be based on the number 10. Okay? So remember, when we multiply by 10, the decimal moves to the right. When we divide by 10, the decimal moves to the left. That's your pattern. Okay? So look right here. I have 100ths. Okay? 100ths times 10, I'm moving that decimal over and I get 1/10. 1/10 times 10, moving that decimal over and I get the whole number 1. So we see those patterns. So now we got to figure them out. Let's look right here. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to attempt to do the first 3, okay? Pause the video right now. Or not right now, let me finish the instructions. I want you to pause the video here in a second, and I want you to answer these questions, okay? Pause it right now. Okay, hopefully you've paused the video and you completed the work. If not, please pause it and let's try it. But let's go ahead and go. So very simple. What is 10 times 1? Very easily, you should have said 10, okay? Because if I have the number 1 and it has that invisible decimal right there, and I move it over 1 time, I get 10, okay? But here's the next question. What times 10 gives me 1? Look up here. Look at the pattern. What times 10 gave me the whole number 1? That's right, 1/10. Okay? The next one. What times 10 gives me 1/10? Okay? Right here. 100ths. Okay? So there's your pattern. Now, the pattern can also be described using division. Use the grids in the example to complete the equation. What is 10 divided by 10? How many times can 10 go into 10? 1 time. Okay? So now what we're actually doing is we're going this way. We are dividing by 10. Okay? We are dividing by 10. So 1 divided by 10 gives me 1/10. Okay? Because I'm moving that decimal. 1/10 divided by 10 is 1/100. All right, let's look right here. It says use the divide 10 pattern to fill in the blanks. Okay? So we are dividing each time we move. Okay? We're dividing by 10. Okay? So we have the decimals right here. If I have 400 and I divide it by 10, I'm moving that decimal over. So 400 divided by 10 gives me 40. And once again, I have that imaginary 0. Move it 1 time over because I'm dividing by 10. You get the number 4. Now, when I divided 4 by 10, I got 4/10. Well, how did I get 4/10? Well, remember, I have that decimal right there, and I moved it over in one place. So if I have the decimal right here, and I have to move it over to the left one place, I get 4/100. All right, so let's look at the next one. It says, how are the decimals 9,000ths and 900ths related? Okay, which one's the bigger number? 9,000ths or 900ths? You can either tell your mom, your dad, your guardian, or your sibling, or whoever's beside you. Tell them that, which one's bigger? Which one? 9 thousandths or 9 hundredths? I hope you said 9 hundredths because that's true. So if 9 hundredths is larger, okay, we have to figure out by how much. So 9 hundredths is blank times the value of 9 thousandths. So what is the place value difference between the 9 here and the 9 here? You're going from a hundredths to a thousandths. You only have to move one place over, so it's 10 times. Or you could have said 9 thousandths is 1/10 the value of 9 hundredths. Okay, let's look at number 4. Number 4 is a type of problem that you're going to see a lot where you have to say yes or no if this is going to be equal. So all I'm asking you to do, okay, is pay attention to whether it is multiplication or division. Okay, if it's multiplication, remember, we move the decimal to the right. So right now, here's what I want you to do. If it's a multiplication, I want you to draw a little decimal and an arrow pointing it to the right. Okay? If it's a division, do the same thing, except you're going to draw the arrow to the left. All right, so it's going to look like this. Now, we have to say whether or not each equation is going to give me an answer that is 7 hundredths. Okay? So let's look at the first one. If you need to, you can come over here and let's say, okay, 7 hundredths. Okay, and I'm going to go 7 hundredths times 10. So that means I'm going to move this decimal one place over, and that's going to give me, and it's okay if you do this. Is that equal? Yes, it is. So you're just going to check yes. Okay. Let's look at 7 tenths divided by 10. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, since I'm dividing, that means the decimal is going to move to the left one time, which gives me that. And that matches. So right now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do letters C and D. And let's check it here in a few minutes, okay? So pause the video right now. And let's see what you got. Okay, I'm hoping that you did pause the video, because if you didn't, you're just following along with me and you're really not learning. So guys, really pause that video and attempt to do the work, okay? That's all we're asking. But continue doing the good work, okay? Now, I have 7 hundredths already, and I'm going to multiply it by 10. Well, I can tell you off the bat that it's not going to match up because it's already equal right now. So, just to show, 7 hundredths divided by 10 is 7 tenths. Okay? Now I have 7 thousandths divided by 10. Okay, if I have that, I'm going to write this over here. Okay, so that means I'm going to move, I'm going to move my decimal to the left, and that gives me 7 10,000ths. So both of these are a big no. Hope you got that. Okay, so describe the shaded section of the model 2 different ways. Fill in the missing information below. Alrighty. So, 8 tenths is equal to what? What is 8 tenths? That means what's the decimal form of 8 tenths? Well, 8 tenths is 0.8. Okay. Blank hundredths is equal to 80 hundredths. How many hundredths are in 80 hundredths? It's right in the name itself. 80. Okay, so I have 8/10. This is all equals over here. 8/10. So I have 1, 2, 3, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or each one of these is 80. Okay. So 8/10 and 8/80. Okay. So let's think about that. Look at this. Would you say that 8/10 is equal, greater than, or less than 80/100? I hope you did equal, because it is. All right, number 8 is just like we did on the previous lesson where we have to color in. Okay, so I have shaped some or all the grids to show that 2 ones is the same as saying 20/10. Explain. Now remember, how many tenths make up one flat? How many rods? Remember we said earlier that 10 rods is equal to 1 flat. Okay? So that means each one of these rods is equal to 1/10. So if I have 20/10, how many of these little things am I going to have to color in? Think about it. 20/10, and if each rod equals a tenth, very good. I'm coloring in 20 of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or if you know already, each one of these has 10. So you're basically coloring in 2 whole flats. So 2 whole flats. So it says explain. So explain is that we just basically colored in 20/10. And when you color in 20/10 together, that gives you a whole number of 2. So we shaded 20/10, comma, which is equal to 2 ones, or it's just equal to 2. So 20/10 is equal to 2. All right, guys, I hope that went okay. That is the workbook lesson for lesson 1.2. I'll see y'all later.